Hey everybody, it's episode 421 of PodQuest.
Hey,
Blaze it again. I'm gonna just do that all the rest of these 420s.
No, just
Yeah.
no,
Get all the
No.
weeds in there
no, just no.
until a cop stops saying 420, and then some. If he just says 422, I won't say it. If he says 420, they gotta blaze it. We
Problem
need
is,
that hot.
I'm gonna forget this by next week, and
Yeah, you will. I know you will.
Anyway, it's Wednesday, September 6th, 2022. I'm Chris. With me is Druten
Hello.
and Walnut.
What's up?
How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Tired.
It has been a oddly long Tuesday.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
it's first Tuesday back. I totally forgot that we were recording today, even though we talked about it less than 5 days ago or something like that. And so I was like, oh shit, I was planning on streaming. I'm still going to stream. I'm just going to take tomorrow off because I want to have a Wednesday off for once.
Yeah, why not? Also, definitely said Wednesday before. It's Tuesday, September 6th, not Wednesday. We're recording a day early.
I thought I heard you say Tuesday.
Nope, I read the sheet, and the sheet says Wednesday.
All right, Ron Burgundy.
Look, man, I don't keep track of the days of the week. I don't need to.
I mean, you wrote it on there. You should be keeping track.
It has been Wednesday. I basically leave it Wednesday unless I think to change it. The only thing I change is the number and the month once every 30 to 31 days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise it just stays Wednesday because we normally do this on Wednesday. But I'm going to go see Newfound Glory tomorrow. It's going to be a good time.
It's all downhill
Yep.
from here.
What? They're not playing that one, though.
Oh, they'll play it.
Apparently they're playing Sticks and Stones and Self-Titled.
Fair, but still, they'll play it. They'll get it in there.
Did they play that at last fall?
Pretty sure.
I can't remember. They probably did, though. You're right. They probably did. Man, you know who actually puts on a surprisingly good show? 21 Pilots.
They do put on a good show. I enjoy them. I've seen them.
Oh, Firefly?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure, like, when they have, like, their own production, it's a little bit different, but, like, they put on, like, a legit, like, production. Like, the singer goes out into, like, the crowd to, like, a second stage in the middle of the crowd to, like, do some songs, climbs up on shit, lots of pyro.
Wait, has Newfound Glory not had a show since the beginning of August?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a new tour, or is it just they took a break?
It's basically a break, so they added 3 shows onto the Sticks and Stones 20th tour. It's the one tomorrow in Philly, and then I believe it's Thursday in Asbury Park, and then Friday in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going and doing a few festivals. Like, they're going to be at the Ohio is for Lovers Festival, and then they're going down to one in Virginia, I think I saw on their site.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they had like a month between shows. So it's almost like a stage 1, stage 2 of the tour.
Yeah, I was confused. I was trying to find their most recent set list from the tour to see if they were going to have that song on there. And I was like, wait, it's going like the 8th, the 7th of September, which haven't happened yet, obviously. And then August 10th. What the hell's going on? Confused.
Yeah, and so they actually, when they announced these 3 tours, they said they were playing the 2 albums. And it looks like the earlier shows on the tour, they played all of Sticks and Stones, but then they kind of just played like a mixture of stuff from all their different albums.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they'll be doing that or not. Because they don't have, normally they have like 2-ish openers. This time they just have 1 band opening for them.
Yep.
So.
Well, according to setlist.fm, their last song is All Downhill From Here. Of their encore, the last song of their encore. It's all downhill from here, so
but
you'll hear it.
I don't think I will.
You don't think so?
No. So Self-Titled and Sticks and Stones back-to-back are about an hour and 40-ish minutes. So I don't know if they'll play more than just, 2 albums back-to-back. They might, though.
Well, I mean, they did, on the 10th, they did Sticks and Stones, and then they did their encore. So they did 20 full total, so.
Yeah, and now they're doing 2, like this show, they're supposed to be doing 2 full albums.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, who knows, though? They might. Like, it's an hour, like I said, it's like an hour 42 minutes, so, like, if they normally play for 2 hours, like, adding a few more songs to that isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Though, All Downhill, don't mind if I don't hear that one. I don't dislike that song, but not one of my favorites from them.
Yeah.
They definitely have better songs.
I mean, most of the songs on Sticks and Stones.
Yeah.
But
like,
back to 21 Pilots, because I can talk about them more, because I don't really know Newfound Glory all that much.
So,
and I know nothing about 21 Pilots.
Yeah. I don't know that you would dislike 21 Pilots, Drew, but like I could
the little bit I listened to them.
Yeah, so every one of their songs is like different from the last. Like it's very hard to categorize them. But like they have some songs that are actually really good and other songs where it's like, okay, I could take this or leave it.
They have songs that are, let's say, like 8 minutes long, that are like 3 different songs within them. That like every couple of minutes they change the tempo and everything else of the song. Like everything is different, and it's wild that they can put on such a good show with just 2 people.
So they do have a full band.
Well, I know that, but like it's the primary band is just the 2 guys.
Yeah, and like the one dude basically plays drums the whole time. And then the other guy does vocals, piano, ukulele, bass, and a few other things depending on the song.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like they put on a good show, and like they do a lot of they string a lot of their songs together. Mm-hmm. So like they don't necessarily play like the full song; they'll play like bits of it back to back to back. But the one thing I thought was cool so they have like the first part of the show, and then at a certain point, the singer goes out through the crowd and onto like the center stage where it's just a piano, and he does kind of like a little set there where it's just him, and then he goes back to the stage where they literally have a campfire set up on stage and a bunch of acoustic instruments, and they do like a mini acoustic set before they get back into like the second half of the show, and they open the second half of the show up by playing the Halo theme.
Yeah,
like just like the full Halo theme from the game.
Nice.
Yeah. It was very much like so it starts out with just a guy playing like a trumpet, and like it slowly transitions into the Halo theme, and like it dawns on you at a certain point. It's like, oh fuck, that's the Halo theme.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually pretty cool, and like it sounded really good.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Trench, which was their 2018 album, so like I haven't really listened to them since then. But I didn't know that they did anything with the Halo theme. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they just cover it when they do live shows.
Did they have him drumming on the crowd?
Yeah. They did that twice. And then the singer went into, so it was at Wells Fargo Center. So he went into like, not into the pit, 'cause they did have it kind of like sectioned off so that he could easily run like through it to the back. 'Cause the like little mini stage they had was set up, right in front of the sound booth. And then they had like a raised tower on the back of the sound booth that he went up to play like a few of the last songs on. But he also runs up into the actual like stands, like on like the 100 level basically for different songs. And at one point the fucking dude just dove off of like, so they're like, that like B stage thing they had in the crowd. He gets onto it and then it literally like raises up, and it raises up pretty high. It's at least like 10 or so feet in the air, if not higher. And after he finishes like his second stint out there, he throws a, well, not him, but like the crew down on the ground puts like a big like air mattress on the crowd, kind of like Drew they did with the pizza at with the Aquabats. And he dives off of this thing 10 feet in the air onto this mattress being held up by just a bunch of fucking strangers, and like finishes the song as they like surf him back up to the stage. And it was impressive, because like a lot of their songs, like if it's like a rap section, like he raps very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all. It was a good time. I never, like, I knew a couple of their songs, but I hadn't really listened to them beforehand. I got tickets for Erica for Christmas because she really liked them, and like they're definitely a band I would go see live again. Like, if nothing else, they put on a really good live show.
That's good.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah, I saw them. I think it was twice at Firefly, like the first year and like the third or fourth year. And yeah, they were really good. They were awesome. But like I said, once Trench came out, and I wasn't really a big fan of Trench in general. I kind of stopped listening to them as much.
Yeah, like they're definitely not a band that like I go out of my way to listen to. But like I actually like a lot of their songs more now than I did before, just because I had kind of listened to them leading up to the concert, just so I wasn't going in totally blind. Because before I only really knew like a couple of their like really popular songs, and even then like it was one of those like I recognized the song but didn't necessarily know it.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, Rich, what is on the agenda?
Oh, what is on the agenda? So none of us really did much this week.
No,
so
y'all are a bunch of fucking slackers.
I had a busy week. Look, my dad got into a car accident on
Oh, is
Sunday,
he all
and
right?
it kind of just messed me up, like, mentally to do anything. Yeah, he's fine. He's absolutely fine. Head-on collision, absolutely fine. Walked away with it, with, like, ache in his back and burn on his arm.
Did he get checked? He got checked out and all?
Yeah, he went to the Lady of Lords and everything. So,
Okay, just making
yeah,
sure.
he's absolutely fine. It's just, but like that, I got that call probably like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and like my sister had already left because she got the call first, and she left then my mom called me, and I'm like, obviously, there's nothing I can do at this point. I'm not going to crowd the hospital or anything. I'm just going to sit here and wait. And then it's like, oh yeah, I think it was like 3 to 4 hours later, maybe even more. It's like, yeah, everything's fine. We're going out to lunch. Like, I just ordered lunch. I wish you had said something like 20 minutes ago. I would have just come out with you. But at one point I was just exhausted from worrying about that I took a nap. That was Sunday. Yeah, that was on Sunday. And then I streamed the rest of the night, and then we had a barbecue yesterday. So like, it was a busy weekend. You can't get mad at us. It was a busy weekend.
I can do whatever I want.
We're recording early on a busy weekend, okay? But Xbox pseudo sort of announced a Game Pass Friends and Family plan. Then apparently there's rumors for Nintendo Direct that should be coming up soon. We're gonna talk a little bit of She-Hulk episode 1 through 3.
Because you're caught up, right?
Yeah, I've watched every episode. I love this show. I guess, Cobb, you watched Lock and Key Season 3, and you watched, is it a series, or is it just a movie? The Patient.
It's a series.
It looks interesting. It looks very interesting.
So far, like the first 2 episodes it was, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Drew, you actually, I know you had thrown this in that group chat we have, that Xbox, they started testing out a Friends and Family, like, Game Pass deal?
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna, I imagine this is gonna spread wide, otherwise, why even test it if you're not gonna actually do it?
And it's in 2 very small markets, isn't it? Like Ireland and like
Ireland
like
and
Argentina?
Colombia. I believe it's Colombia. But yeah, it's 22 euros a month in Ireland, but it's up to you and up to 4 others, so 5 people total on the account. So split it 5 ways, it's like not even $5 a person a month, and it's Game Pass Ultimate, so Xbox and PC and Xbox Live, yada yada yada.
Yeah, which is actually a pretty cool deal. Especially, I don't know if I've never actually checked, but I don't know that your Game Pass stuff carries between just profiles on your console the way that like PlayStation Plus can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or not even PlayStation Plus, but like your digital games. I know on like PlayStation, like if Erica signs into a profile on like my main console, she can play those games.
Right.
But I don't think Game Pass stuff carries over like that.
Huh.
I mean, it's weird because like when I don't think it carries over if it's like PS Plus stuff. Like if it's a game you physically downloaded on your system that you bought, you paid for and bought, not on PS Plus, yeah, you can play it. That's how I owned every game from when PlayStation got hacked, because I happen to have 2 PlayStation accounts and my dad had one, so I used my 2 accounts to redeem most of them and my dad's account to redeem the rest, and we had access to all of them on all profiles.
The PS Plus games work across profile on your main PlayStation. So if I were to then log in on a different PlayStation, then my PS Plus games wouldn't work on a different account on that PlayStation. But all the sub accounts on my main PlayStation can access all the PS Plus games on my account.
Yeah, I thought that was how it worked, but I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah, because if you deactivate a thing as your primary, you have to be signed in to access stuff, but nobody else can access it.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I could come over to one of your houses, sign in, download a game, play it, but as soon as I sign out, you lose access to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Game Pass just doesn't do that at all, because you're technically like getting it from your Xbox account, I think. Mm-hmm. So this is actually even if it's a little more expensive than that, that's still a pretty good deal.
As long as it's less than $10 a month per account, it's a really good deal. Hell, like technically, if it's you and one other person on the family account, it is cheaper. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, it is cheaper for 2 people to have a family plan. It's strange timing, because, in my opinion at least, because, like, I know Nintendo has their family plan with the Switch Online. I believe they had that plan from the get-go, though. And that wasn't something that, like, you had to go in, like, once they announced Switch Online, they announced a family plan.
Yeah, that launched with the Switch Online.
So it's like, to me, it's a little bit of a weird, not a weird flex, but it's a weird call to be like, hey, we have countless people, I don't know what the actual numbers of Game Pass subscribers are, using this. Let's now make less money by giving them this option. It's just, it's a strange call for them to make, because the 3 of us could split Game Pass now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the general consensus from most people in the media that I've heard is Xbox is willing to take losses on this stuff right now to get the install base, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Microsoft has the money. Like, they can afford to take losses like that to then get the install base to then raise prices later on when everyone is already fully in their ecosystem.
Yeah, which, I mean, this, again, also kind of feeds my theory that Xbox wants out of the console business and just wants to be the game provider. Like, they don't want to be in a console. Like, giving this option, because they're willing to take this loss to get a bigger install base, this way more people with PCs and shit can do this Xbox stuff. Like, they want to provide games. They want to be the next Steam, is really what it seems like to me.
Yeah. I mean, all of these platforms, they make almost no money off of the hardware to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the money comes from game publishing. So that it's the same reason why Microsoft is out there dropping billions of dollars on other publishers and, like, larger studios. Like, they do not have Microsoft Studios or Xbox Studios does not have a good output. Like, a Halo game every, like, 3 to 4 years, and that's about it. And Gears of War, like, not enough to, like, satiate everybody, especially when not everybody likes those games.
When was the last Gears of War?
2018, right?
I think so.
Has there even been talk of a new Gears of War?
2019, I'm sorry. That I don't know, but I think the Coalition is working on something else right now.
I mean, they probably should. It feels like that the Gears franchise is pretty dead.
Gears Tactics in 2020.
That doesn't count.
It's a Gears of War game.
That's like saying Halo Wars counts.
Hey, look, I'm not saying Gears Pop, okay? Like, Halo Wars does count. They had two versions of that game. They had Halo Wars 1 and 2. Like, the most recent Gears of War was 2020. I don't recall hearing anything since. And it's not like I'm mentioning the board game, but that was 2011, so that's fine. But, like, I don't recall hearing anything since. I haven't played Gears of War since 3, though. I don't know how the story went with 4 and 5.
I know that 4 and 5 take place many years later, and it's like the son of Marcus.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's the son of Marcus, but Marcus is in it as well, for at least a little bit.
And then the 5 is about a different character, like his son and stuff is in it, but 5 focuses on a female.
And then there was DLC for 5 as well in 2019.
But yeah, I don't believe there has been any talk of a Gears 6, but I'm sure it'll come eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did just look it up. Game Pass Ultimate does work like the PS Plus stuff, where your home Xbox, your Game Pass Ultimate gets shared across all accounts signed in on that Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And you can take it with you and go, like, if you log in on Richie's Xbox, you could download whatever, play whatever from Game Pass Ultimate. But as soon as you sign out, Richie wouldn't have access to it.
But if Richie came in and signed in on my primary Xbox, he could play any games I have downloaded from Game Pass.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that's not how it worked, but I have never tried it.
Yeah, I legitimately did not know.
Yeah, like, Erica doesn't, like, there aren't really any Xbox games that Erica's interested in other than Fable. And who fucking knows if that game will ever come out?
No. Maybe. I don't know. What studio's working on that?
Playground Games?
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it the fucking Forza studio? They'll probably make like 4 more Forza Horizons before they put Fable out.
I feel like they've done 2 since Fable.
No,
4 more will still have.
There was a Fable that was recently announced.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
recently, like 3 years ago.
2018 is when
Ooh,
rumors
I was
surfaced. It was shown in 2020.
Okay.
So 2 years ago,
2
it was
years
shown
ago.
at during the Xbox not E3 showcase.
Right.
And then since then, right? So they've only done 1 Horizon since then.
There has been articles as of yesterday from both comicbook.com as well as Games Radar about new Fable.
Yeah, they haven't shown anything, I think, since that initial reveal. But, like, it's been a while, so people are expecting it.
But, you see, you were like, what, initial rumors were 2018, and then the initial, like, release information, or not release, but, like, showing was 2020.
Yeah.
Like, that all still, 2020 all still feels like yesterday to me. So, like...
It also feels like a decade ago.
But, like... I swear, like, when I said recently, I swear it was within, like, the past year that they did that announcement trailer. And it's like, you kind of got to give them a little bit of leeway because it was a pandemic, people work from home, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, now that we're coming down from it, like, and people are, like, getting more into the groove, especially developers, now it's like, all right, 3, 4, 5 years, that's a long time, but...
It's a long time post-reveal. Like, 4 to 5 years to develop a game, totally reasonable. No problem with that, like, especially for something like that, where, like, that is a ground-up new game. Like, it's not like they're remaking something. It's not like they have, like, a Fable game from 2018 that they're able to, like, reuse assets on. Like, the last Fable game, I think, was, like...
It was Fable 3, and that was the Xbox 360.
Was it that long ago? Oh, yeah, because other than that, they did the anniversary one.
They did like Legends. They did the anniversary, but
no,
like, the last...
Didn't Legends get canceled? Isn't that the one that got canceled?
I guess maybe that's what 4 is supposed to be. I don't know. I looked up Fable 4 and it's showing me an image of Fable Legends. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fable Legends is the one that got canceled.
Canceled cooperative role playing video game.
Oh, that's right. It's multiplayer. But look, just to show you how much time doesn't matter, Rich. If you had to guess. So, Forza Horizon 5 was the one that came out last year. It's in Mexico. Mm-hmm. When do you think Forza Horizon 4, the one that took place in the UK and had all of the weather effects, when do you think that one came out?
I would say it was mid-life cycle of the Xbox One, so probably like 6 years prior.
Not totally far off. It's actually a little more recent than that. It was 2018. Because remember, up until the pandemic, Forza games were every other year. So it was... Yeah. It was basically even number years were Horizons, odd number years were Motorsports.
Man, they should have spent more time on Horizon.
I mean, they give it 2 years.
I feel like they should have spent more time because I was all pumped for it, and then just like after playing it for like 10, 15 hours, it was just, to me, it was a letdown.
I mean, those games are just arcade racers. That's kind of unfortunately like they put a lot of pomp and circumstance into them, but I feel like they never get a lot of actual like depth. Whereas, like, the motorsports are, like, the opposite. They get all the depth and not the pomp and circumstance. But, yeah, this seems like it could be a cool deal. No idea when it'll actually hit wide, because it is just, like, in a test market thing right now. But could be a cool deal. What is next? So, it's been a while since we've had a proper Nintendo Direct. So I don't think they did one around, like, the not E3 area. Like, was that when they did the Xenoblade one?
Yeah, that was when we got the half-hour Xenoblade.
And then after that, they did a half-hour for, Splatoon.
Yeah, I think it was like 15 minutes, actually.
Let's just call it a half-hour.
They spent less time on Splatoon than they did on Xenoblade. Okay. I know that much.
I did not watch the Splatoon one, so I honestly can't say.
I also did fast-forward it, and, like, watch it at 2 times speed times.
So it might have been 40 minutes, and you just watched it at half speed.
No, I'll figure it. I'll look it up now, but keep going.
Yeah. So rumors from one Jeff Grubb are he is determined that there is definitely going to be a Nintendo Direct this month. Sorry, I had hair in my mouth. Which tracks. Like, they normally have a Direct in September. Like, that's a thing that happens. What he is saying he thinks we'll see is the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports from the Wii U to the Switch, and maybe a title for Breath of the Wild 2. And then we might also see a Metroid Prime remaster for the Switch, but probably not the trilogy, which is what everybody actually wants.
I was dead wrong. The Splatoon Direct was longer by 6 minutes, but the Xenoblade Chronicles Direct felt like it was 45 hours long.
But you watched that one at regular time and you fast forwarded through.
No, right? I didn't even get through the first 5 minutes of the Xenoblade Chronicles one. I thought it was there. None of it pertained to me because it was all stuff about the story of the game, which I'm like, you're going to get in the game. Whereas like the Splatoon one was like the first like 15-20 minutes was about like the new weapons and zones of the game. Like it actually was interesting.
That sounds boring to me.
I mean, I don't want to. We went over this when we talked about both of them. When it comes to the Xenoblade Chronicles one, I don't want to sit here and watch a half-hour video about a game that I'm going to play that they're going to explain everything to me again.
But we both know you're not going to play it.
That's on my list. I'm not saying I won't play it, but it's like I might not play Splatoon either, but I'm more interested to learn about the new weapons and maps and game modes in Splatoon.
And live vicariously.
It wasn't until like they started talking about the new shops and menus and the overworld stuff where I was like, all right, well, I'll learn this when I get into it, that I fast forwarded it just to see what else they had on there. And like, it was 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes of pertinent, of like good information. And the rest was just like, this is stuff you'll find out when you play the game. Whereas when I looked at Xenoblade, it was literally everything you'll find out when playing the game.
I mean, that is unfortunately what most of their individual game directs are. That's even when they're the like multi-game directs, I feel like they often focus on one game for just a little too long. It used to be Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like you used to get 20 minutes in a 40-minute direct. You get 20 minutes to Smash Brothers.
Well, that's also why we haven't had any real directs in a while, because they stopped releasing new characters for Smash Bros. So they don't have a direct announcing the new character, and then a direct showcasing the new character, and then a direct having Iwata play as the character.
Yeah, no, that tracks. Yeah.
So like that's why we don't have as many directs anymore, is because like Smash Bros is done for this generation. And they're going to work on the next one for the next system when that comes out.
But did you guys see Sakurai started a YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, he's out there making YouTube videos now. I believe about game design.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
He's making YouTubes. Fucking Kojima's out there making podcasts.
I wonder, his first episode should be out soon. I think it actually comes out today.
No, it's the 8th.
Okay.
So Thursday? I believe it's the 8th.
Oh man, I never got to make it. I haven't rewatched Cobra Kai. The new season starts on Friday.
Yeah, it does.
I'm
excited for that. Should be a good one. But yeah, so if we get a Nintendo Direct, is there anything that like you guys can think of from Nintendo that like we might see?
Pokemon. 100%. If we get a Nintendo Direct in September, it's going to be Pokemon, because that comes out at the end of the month.
No, it comes out in November.
I thought it was October.
No, it's November.
Well, even if it was October, that would not be the end of the month.
I thought it was like early October. Like, that's why I meant the end of the month. But like, I thought it was a lot sooner. I didn't realize that it was so late.
That's not high spot. November 18th. I feel like the last couple of generations, the games generally are in that like mid-November, like right before Thanksgiving area. But I did see there is apparently going to be another Pokemon Direct from the Pokemon Company either this week or next week.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
well, they just released a trailer for one of their or a spotlight for one of the new Pokemon. So
okay, maybe that's what it is then.
Well, like they released a spotlight last week about it.
Oh, so there's supposed to be another one apparently.
Yeah, so they're probably going to do that slowly until the release, like every week or so. Because there's also like a Pokemon Origins channel on YouTube that has like I don't know, like story based like things to watch on there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's where they're doing like that like web version video, like that, like an animated series based in the Hisu region.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's on that YouTube channel. Might be wrong though. But yeah, I mean Pokemon's a definite. People have been like clamoring for like the Game Boy Advance or GameCube stuff on Switch Online. It's only been a year though since N64. Like, do you think they would announce something like that this early, or do you think they'll give it like at least another year for the N64 and Genesis stuff?
We had NES stuff for a year before we got SNES, and then we had that for a year before we got Genesis and 64 stuff. So
wait, was the SNES and Super Nintendo really a year apart?
I think it was about year and a half tops. It wasn't really that long, I don't think.
I felt like they came out together, not like apart.
No, they came out apart. I think they came out apart. Yeah, SNES wasn't immediate, was it? I don't know. All this is confusing me now. I'm just lost in all of it.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of. I'm reading the Wikipedia page. No, it looks like those two may have actually launched around the same time. Officially in 2021 added the N64 and Genesis stuff.
Maybe they were the same then. I don't remember.
But yeah, so it was 3 years. So two years in, they did 2.5, 3. They did the Nintendo 64 Genesis stuff.
Okay, so it was a year between the NES games and the SNES games.
Oh, okay.
The NES games were 20 were there on launch of the Switch Online service in September 2018. The SNES games didn't get added till September 2019.
And then we didn't get the 64 and stuff till 2021, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was like early 21.
It was September.
Was it September? Okay.
Yeah,
it was October.
Oh, I was close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see it being. I would expect if they're going to announce it at any time, it would be now. Like to have it ready and out. Like I doubt there's going to be much on there available for GBA, or GameCube. But like, yeah, I don't know what they're going to show. They're gonna show a bunch of indie stuff, and then they're going to show.
That's true. They will lean on the indie games, won't they?
Yeah, like that's part of like I don't like to try to speculate what's going to be shown on something that we don't even know is happening yet. Like, has Nintendo announced a Direct coming up soon?
No, that's why that's why I say rumor.
Yeah, that's that, and that like I'm like. I don't like the idea of trying to speculate what maybe they might talk about.
But what do you want them to? What would you want them to show? Not what do you think they will, but what would you want them to?
There's nothing really that comes to mind that I would want them to show. Maybe Breath of the Wild 2. Like I want a release date for that. I'm not like all like up in arms about the Prime remaster. Like I'm only getting this information off of what's written on the screen right now. Like I'm not sitting here thinking and looking forward to what's going to come out. What haven't they announced yet? What do I want to see more of? I'm sitting here thinking about what I do know is coming out that I'm going to be getting or doing. And so I'm not too worried or concerned about stuff I don't know is coming.
Well, what is coming that you know is coming that you're looking forward to then?
Pokemon.
That's it?
On the Nintendo side? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they, other than like, because one of the things, we have no idea what the Mario team's working on. Like there hasn't been any announcements since Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
And we know there's a Breath of the Wild sequel, but we have no idea when or how. And like at this point, like if it doesn't come out like early next year, like they're going to start running into the same thing they did with the first Breath of the Wild or even Twilight Princess, where like the game is like skirting the end of a generation, and they might just push it until they launch a new console and then have it released on both. Cause they did that with Twilight Princess and then Breath of the Wild, right? Like both of them were cross-gen essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I can think of, Rabbids, like Mario vs. Rabbids 2.
Oh, I forgot about that. Is that this fall?
Yeah. That should be coming out in October.
Oh, yeah.
I think I just read that.
Yeah, if they do that that would probably be like the big thing that they focus on, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Like that's really, those are really the only two things that like I can think of or look forward to. Like we're not getting a new Legend of Zelda because we're still waiting on Breath of the Wild 2, so I'm not going to say Legend of Zelda. We just got Metroid, so I'm not looking for another Metroid because I don't want them to work and blow out Metroids every 2 years. I want them to be great games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, and that's what comes to speculation without knowing is like, well, what has come out? What is coming out? What do we know? What don't we know? And like you said, really the only thing that potentially is possible through Nintendo, even though we already kind of got one, would be maybe a new Mario. But we kind of already got a new Mario this year with the 3D.
The
what was it?
the 3D world with Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, that one.
That wasn't this year, was it?
I believe that was this year, if not late last year.
That feels.
That was
about the
that was
COVID
20
time.
years ago. Where have you?
Yeah, like that. If you told
That
me
was
that
in
came out in
1942.
2019, like I'd believe it.
Oh wow, no, fucking February 2021.
Yep.
Jesus.
So it was early last year. So it was a year and a half ago. Like,
oh god,
we
that was just over a year ago. I'm sorry.
yeah, it was over a year ago that we got that. So that was like the new Mario thing. So if anything, we might be getting in Mario. But like the only other thing I can think of, because of the way Nintendo releases shit, we're getting an announcement for a new system.
Yeah, there's a new system. I know we got a release date for Bayonetta 3, but I don't know that they ever did anything else in the direct for them.
Not really, I don't think so.
And then, like, so we know Metroid Prime 4 is in development, but we know that it basically got canceled and restarted, right? That was Metroid Prime?
It got completely scrubbed and restarted. But that was 4 years ago that scrub happened?
Yeah, I was about to say, because that was actually a while ago, I think.
Yeah.
2018, well into development. Yeah, it looks like in 2019 is when they basically said that they restarted development. So, and we never saw anything for that. It was just a lot of, hey, we're working on this. But I know from what a lot of like reporters have said, Nintendo has a tendency, especially with like ports of stuff, is they finish them and then they sit on them. So apparently, like, people that have sources have confirmed that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are both ready to go on the Switch. And the same thing with the Metroid Prime, like, the full trilogy. And Nintendo is just kind of, like, holding them back until they feel like releasing them, when I guess they'll make the biggest splash.
Mm-hmm. Which, honestly, I don't blame them.
No, not at all. Especially with those, it's seemingly how the two new titles in those franchises seem to be getting delayed. Because you figure if they announce that the Breath of the Wild sequel is coming out like next fall, or even like next winter to kind of coincide with winter 2023 to coincide with when the first game launched. This winter would like this holiday season would be a good time to release like the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports. But if that game's still like 2 years off, then like hold those until a little bit closer so that you can kind of like bridge the gap by like filling it with like games that people like.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I feel like Twilight Princess has gotten like a better reception after it's when like it got re-released on the Wii U, but it was on the Wii U that nobody played. So, But I'll be interested to see what, if anything, gets announced. I would like to see them add the Game Boy Advance stuff, though. A lot of the Game Boy Advance games I'd like to see, I feel like wouldn't make it on there. Like, I doubt we'll get Pokemon games on there. I doubt we'll get the Mega Man like Battle Network games, because those just got announced in that like big bundle thing that they're going to be releasing.
Yeah, I mean, and consider like none of the Mega Man games or the X games are on the NES or SNES things.
Yeah, because they keep having like packages for those to be in.
Yeah, you won't get the Mega Mans. You're not going to get Pokemons. It's going to be like you won't get Advanced Wars because we're getting that.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like when it comes to like GBA, I don't really know what you could release for that. Game Boy, there might be a little bit more, but also like there's a bunch of Kirby shit that they could do for Game Boy. All of like the Kirby's Dream Land was Game Boy.
Yeah,
so
like, there are Kirby games on the Game Boy Advance too. There's some Sonic games on the Game Boy Advance they could do. But yeah, unfortunately, like the GBA is that like platform where it had a bunch of games that people really liked, but they're not Nintendo first party. So those other publishers have tended to like bundle them and re-release them other ways. Like, isn't there a collection, like a multi-platform collection of all the advanced Castlevania games? Isn't it like called Castlevania Advanced?
That sounds right.
And then yeah, like the Battle Network games are coming. I just feel like Nintendo just wouldn't put the Pokemon games on there because they're weird about that stuff, even though they don't offer any other way to play those games legally.
I thought you could buy them on.
Oh, you can still buy them on the 3DS, but you won't be able to, I think, in March when they shut it down.
I thought
yeah.
I thought maybe. I don't know. Yeah, probably. But maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe they will release the other Pokemons on here. But again, like, what's the point of doing that when they can just keep making money, printing money by selling them? People will continue to buy Pokemon games over and over and over again.
But that's the thing, they don't offer a way to buy them. Because they don't have a retro game option for their first-party stuff on the Switch store. It's only what other publishers put out in, like, their own, like, bundles.
Then maybe we'll get a retro purchase option on the Switch. Like, it's a shock that we don't have that option. And, like, people are, it's like, yeah, you could think, oh, maybe we don't have that option because we're gonna get the Switch Online shit. But, like, we're not gonna get Pokemon for if you have an online account. They're not gonna do that.
I agree. And,
like,
so 4 years ago or whatever, when they were talking about this stuff, the marketing that they kept coming out with was the Switch Online stuff was their solution for the Virtual Console. That they were not going to do, like, anything like that to play old games natively on the Switch and, like, buy them piecemeal. But I feel like you're right. Like, there are certain franchises that they won't put on there. And it's like, well, why have them locked away completely unavailable to people? Let people spend $10, $20, because they will, and they'll buy them for that much. And then, hey, you just made $20 on a 20-year-old game that you really had to put no effort into because it already fucking exists on your digital storefront.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we know? Like, all these platforms tend to do that stuff.
Yep.
So, Rich, what do you think of She-Hulk?
That show is so fun. Like, I like I like how they did episode 1. And it was all like a full-on, it was kind of a montage for the full episode to show you, to get you up to speed with her life. And then for episode 2 and 3, it's just like kind of a slice of life show. And I love the acting. I love the direction it's going. I love the actors themselves. I love the characters that they're picking. And the choices that they're making. Like, just overall, I'm having fun. Like, this show better not turn superhero-y. Like, it probably will have its superhero-y moments, but I like what they're doing with the show. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, like, it's cool that they're making it kind of like a comedy lawyer show. And, like, because they keep breaking the fourth wall in it, she even keeps, like, calling it, like, a lawyer show.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it is She-Hulk Attorney at Law is what it's called. Like, the show is not called She-Hulk. It's called She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Yeah. And, like, the show so far has been really similar to Dan Slott's run, which his run, like, she was a lawyer. Like, that was kind of like, that was the focus. A lot of the more modern She-Hulk runs have been about her being, like, it's less about her out in the streets being a superhero and more about her, like, kind of being a normal person just who is also a Hulk.
Yeah.
They did flip it around a little bit, because in the comics, she prefers to be She-Hulk. Like, she just stays She-Hulk all the time, more or less. Whereas in the show, it's more, you know, she would rather just be Jennifer Walters, but, like, people keep wanting her to be She-Hulk.
You know why they did that.
Because it's...
budget.
Yeah,
it's
I was going to say,
budget. Like,
it is less expensive to have her as a normal person as often as possible.
And honestly, I would much rather that be how it goes. Like, I would much rather her prefer to be, like, herself and not She-Hulk. Because then it makes the credit scenes, like, the episode 2 credit scene with her dad, and helping him do chores around the house as She-Hulk, amazing. Like, it makes me crack up every time I watch each episode. Like, these credit scenes are perfect for, like, the kind of themes and stuff that they're trying to put for this show.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I don't think the CG is bad, but I do think there is just something slightly weird about, like, what She-Hulk looks like, that them not having her in every scene like that does help kind of break it up a little bit, so it doesn't become, like, a thing that, like, you can't stop looking at.
Yeah, like, they certainly do need to refine her look as She-Hulk, but it's fine. Like, it's not terrible. It's not pulling me away from the show.
Exactly.
Like, I'm enjoying it. I like when it's not really that jarring either anymore. After watching a few episodes, it's just like it's fine. Like, it's not terrible. Yeah. I love what they did with Blonsky and what they did in episode 3 with Wong, which was great.
Yeah, I do like that it's basically like, because it's superhero law, you're going to have a lot of cameos, but
Mhm.
they're not making them, like, they're leaning into it being kind of goofy,
Yeah.
rather than trying to make, like, the whole cameo thing super serious.
Yeah. They're not like showstopper cameos. They're just straight up like, hey, this is part of the episode. Like, we're not doing it to be like, oh, look, he's there too. It's all connected. It's literally like, this is just part of their story that you don't get to see
And hey,
in normal mediums.
the Sorcerer Supreme was a big deal showstopper. Thank you very much.
I mean, look, I love Wong. I love it. And like that having him in that was great. Like it was just a good, like, connecting thing. And I feel like that's what they're going to be using a lot of the show for, is kind of connecting how people get out of shit in this world, especially heroes. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we get some sort of, Kate Bishop and Hawkeye cameo at some point, due to what happened on Christmas. Or, like, we already know we're supposed to be getting a Daredevil cameo. Or at least, not Daredevil, what's
No,
his name?
it's Daredevil is apparently supposed to be in it, which I'm super curious to see how that works.
I mean, is it Daredevil or is it, what's his name?
No, like, Daredevil is supposed to be in it.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. But so the thing that I'm curious about is, like, Daredevil takes place in New York, whereas She-Hulk is in LA. Like, I'm curious, like, who is going where?
I would guess, because I think based on the frames I've seen, it's Daredevil in LA.
Probably.
It's him dressed as his attorney alter ego. For some reason I can't remember his name. Matt Murdock, yeah. It's him as Matt Murdock in LA talking to She-Hulk for whatever reason, and maybe it's just the idea of doing superhuman law on two sides of the country and connecting their firms together or something like that.
Maybe. Yeah. I think when we left it, Matt was still just a like a regular defense attorney, right?
Yeah. When in the Netflix series, the last episode, like, him, Foggy and what's her name became friends again and decided to reopen their firm, but it was nothing special. It was nothing about superhuman or superheroes.
Right.
Because they hadn't really, besides Defenders, they hadn't really fully acknowledged superheroes, because it was the limbo of whether or not this was actually part of the full-on Avengers universe, or just took place after the first Avengers, and then that was it.
Yeah, to be fair, like, Matt Murdock never really focused on any of that stuff either, because he did have the secret identity, so he tried not to, like, he definitely tries cases with superhumans, but doesn't make it like a focal point the way She-Hulk tends to. But yeah. She-Hulk is also, like, she has a public identity. So, like, everybody knows that Jennifer Walters is She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I will say, like, they did a great job with the cast. Tatiana Maslany is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Just in general. Like, she was on that show Orphan Black on BBC America.
Yeah.
And she played, like, 12 different parts. And every one of those characters actually felt like a different character. Like, you sometimes have to, like, stop and remind yourself that, like, oh no, that's, like, legitimately the same actress doing all of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's an amazing actress. I've seen one of the YouTube channels I watch, Corridor Crew. They're a bunch of graphic digital effects guys. And like they did an episode of Orphan Black where she was fighting herself. And like they talked about how they did it and how it was all, and it's just like how she's able to go into two separate embodiments of the same character, just raised and nurtured differently, and like the way she's able to act in this and be like two separate characters. She's an amazing actress.
Yeah, even just the way that they talk in that show. So like the one that you're first introduced to is British. So like that's a pretty drastic difference between the rest of them. All the rest of them are like American or Canadian or whatnot. So like none of them have like drastically different accents, but like she makes them all sound like unique people. Like the way that they enunciate things, like their tone of voice, it's all unique between them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far that show's been really good. I forget, is it 6 episodes or 8 episodes?
I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't look up the episode count or what it's supposed to be. It wasn't. I didn't really care to look it up. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, it's 9 episodes.
Nice.
Longer than I thought it would be.
I will say, and I'm going to throw this out here now, if you are a listener of this show and are complaining about any, especially the most recent post-credits scene or mid-credits scene of this show, you can just fuck off right now and leave, okay? You can just leave.
That was a funny scene.
And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be funny.
I still have no idea who that lady is.
It's Megan Thee Stallion.
I understand that's her name. Never heard of her before.
She's a rapper, hip hop person. She did the song with Cardi B, WAP.
Never. I'm not even. I've heard the name Cardi B before, but I don't know who that really is either.
She's the reason we know that Tucker Carlson doesn't know how to satisfy his wife.
I thought that was just common knowledge.
No, not Tucker Carlson. The other one. What's the other one's name?
Isn't it Ben Shapiro?
Ben Shapiro. Yeah. They're the reason we know that Ben Shapiro doesn't know how to satisfy his wife, because his wife is never wet. She's a doctor. She says it's not supposed to. Fuck you, Ben Shapiro. But no, like, I hate all of the hate that this show is getting, because it's like, oh, they're sexualizing her, and like, I saw one meme of like, this is, and it's the scene, it's the end scene where Megan Thee Stallion is teaching She-Hulk how to twerk, which is just so fucking funny. And it's like, people are like, oh, this is what Iron Man died for. And it's like, come the fuck on. Let people just have fun. Like, laugh at this. It doesn't have to be serious. Just look at it. It's funny. This is comedic. This is not made to be serious. You're talking about a fucking Hulk. You need to have fun.
God forbid people, like, remember that it's a fictitious universe and they're just trying to put on a fun show.
Yeah. Like, if you wanna have a serious Hulk show, watch Superman. Like, it's the Hulk. He's indestructible. He's always angry. They need to have fun, and this is even more because it's She-Hulk. They need to have fun with it because she doesn't want to be a superhero. Have fun with it.
If you want to watch a serious Hulk show, go watch the Hulk from the 70s.
That's David Bruce Banner. So it's not a Hulk show. It's not Bruce.
No, they canonically changed his name. In the comics, Bruce's first name is actually David. He just goes by his middle name.
I hate it so much. But the best thing to come out of this show so far, Drew. Spoiler alert: Captain America fucks.
Yeah.
It's like in the first 2 minutes they have a conversation about it,
and then it's a post-credit scene where Hulk actually admits that Captain America did hook up with one other person besides Peggy when he went back in time. Like, he did have sex with someone before actually, getting frozen. It was just the dumbest conversation, but the last line of the first episode is her yelling as She-Hulk, Captain America, and then it stops with the F, and it's just amazing. I loved it so much.
Yeah, they really did do a good job of just, having fun with that stuff.
Yeah, it's a family show. Yeah, I guess you could say it's a family show. It's a show about a family. It's a show about a girl just living her life. Her cousin just happens to be Bruce Banner. That's all.
I like that they did kind of keep her origin, similar to what the comics were. Because, that Bruce is definitely too smart to have given anybody a blood transfusion.
Yeah.
But, because that's how she got her powers in the comics was, she was in an accident and Bruce was her cousin and gave her a blood transfusion.
Yeah.
In this, it was more of a, they got into an accident and he bled into her.
Mm-hmm. I love that, she is superior in every way. Meaning he took a blood transfusion from her to recover his arm.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. She just
immediately has control over her Hulk form.
Yeah. And, I'm sure there's people out there that hated that, hated the commentary they had on that, but, this kind of commentary you have to have, where she's always has to be in control of her emotions. In the professional world, she has to be, so it makes sense, the commentary that they were putting there.
That was a great, rant.
Yeah. It was, it was amazing. It was, I loved it. Cause it's you're 100% right here. Totally. This makes 100% sense.
And then you had, she always had like better control over it than Bruce. Like that's why she was able to just be a lawyer as Hulk all the time. But I like that they'll never do it in the MCU, but the whole idea with like in the comics is Bruce has like undiagnosed like dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah.
But Jennifer doesn't. So she gets the same effect, just like most other people that become Hulks. Like they do not lose control the way Bruce does.
I mean, they could. They have Moon Knight, who has DID as well. So they could go that path if they were to want to try to link it a little bit. They could go that route. They
could, but at this point, the fact that they fused the two personalities.
That's something that happens with DID, though.
But then we also never... So the reason they've leaned into the DID with the Hulk is because every couple of decades, there'll be a run where like the Hulk becomes a drastically different character. Sometimes he's like not so much intelligent the way Bruce is intelligent, but like more street smart or just more talkative in general, like in Planet Hulk, where like he was completely in his faculties during Planet Hulk. He similar to how he was in Ragnarok, like, but even like a little more intelligent than he was there. And then other times he's just like the big rage monster. And there have been Hulk runs where like it dives into his like psyche and shows that like they're all just like different personalities of Bruce that manifest depending on like what his emotional trauma is at any given time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good show. I think it's Wednesdays, so the next one will be tomorrow.
No, it's Thursdays.
Fuck, I keep thinking it's Wednesdays. I think you did too. Didn't you post that?
Yeah, I posted it last Wednesday. I was like, fuck, I thought it was Wednesdays. I was always watching it on Thursdays. Like, the first episode I didn't watch till Saturday. Second one I watched on Thursday because I didn't have time on Wednesdays to watch it. Then, like, last Wednesday I was like, sweet. Scheduling my lunch, getting it all set up. And it's like, fuck, it's on Thursdays. But, like, most of the other shows that Disney Plus has released, like, both Marvel and Star Wars were Wednesdays. So it's weird that they chose Thursdays for this.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is kind of weird. Because, it's like usually the premieres are on Fridays and the rest of them move to Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
But anything else you want to say about She-Hulk before we move on?
It's so funny. It makes me smile when I watch it. And if it doesn't make you smile, there's something wrong with it.
That's valid, I guess. So last two things, will be fairly quick. I watched the final season of Locke and Key on Netflix.
I never watched season 2
of Locke and Key.
Did I watch season? I thought they just came out with season 2.
So it was last year. It was actually a pretty fast turnaround. Season 2 came out like September of last year, and then season 3 came out the beginning of August this year.
How did season 1 ended with them sending her through the portal under the house, right?
Like in the cliffs, yeah, but it was the wrong person.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I never watched season 2.
Yeah, season 2 ends with the oldest brother leaving.
I haven't watched it.
No, but like that's a minor spoiler. Like it's not giving away anything about the story, but like that's the last scene is him like going on a road trip. So like if you never saw that, then you definitely didn't watch season 2.
Yeah, I guess I thought I did watch it, or I thought this was season 2 that I've been seeing on Netflix.
Nope, third and final season they announced. So it does, and it has one of those wrap ups where all the main plot threads are kind of settled, but it's definitely left in a position where they could do more if they wanted to. I don't know how much of the comic they covered. Like I don't know if these 3 seasons basically covered the main story or not. But like it was satisfying, and they finally like they had like different villains throughout it rather than like the same one that had kind of been through seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And they had like some interesting keys in this one. Like they found the creation key that like anything they draw can like come to life.
Nice.
So like they draw like a motorcycle, and in like a flashback to like their dad using it, he drew like a goblin creature from like a Shakespeare play. Mm-hmm. The Tempest, I think, is the play he said. And like he drew it fairly small on like just a regular piece of paper, and then like it sprung to life. So that was cool. But yeah, it was a solid final season. I'm bummed that it is the final season because I did really like that show.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it was the final season. Like I said, I thought it was just season 2 that just came out. And it's been on my list of things to watch, which is just ever growing because just don't watch anything now. But yeah, that is a bummer. But I feel like it really didn't do all that well.
I mean, it did well enough. It's just Netflix is weird with stuff, and like that one in particular, like there was no fanfare for it. Like it's just like the week before it came out, they announced that it was coming out. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the first season, the second season, they had like some marketing and some promotion leading up to it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a fun season. You got to see more of kind of the past, I guess you'd say. Like their dad and stuff, like as like teenagers dealing with the key, at least more than I remember the other two seasons having.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm knowing that you haven't even watched season 2. I'm trying to think of things I can say that wouldn't spoil anything for season 2.
I don't know when I'm gonna watch them, so like, just go ahead. I have no idea when I'm gonna watch these things because I like the next thing I'm going to watch for sure. Probably won't even happen this weekend. Would be Stranger Things. And then after that, it's going to be Umbrella Academy. No, actually, false.
You have to watch Cobra Kai this weekend.
Cobra Kai is this weekend. And then it'll be Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy, which honestly, I like Umbrella Academy, but I can hold off on that until the final season comes out, which is next season, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
And then maybe Lock and Key, but there's a bunch of other shit on there that I want to watch that I haven't gotten to. All of Us Are Dead is one of them. I've heard that's really good. Yeah, so go ahead and talk about it.
So it was cool, and like spoilers for season 2. It's cool that by this season, kind of everybody in the main cast knows what's going on. Because they find a way for the adults to remember, basically.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember from season 1, but like once you basically turn 18, you forget about magic.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime like somebody uses a key in front of somebody that's like the mother, for instance, or anytime somebody talks about it, they just kind of immediately forget what they were told or what they were shown, and they think that like it was just like something completely unrelated and explainable.
Yeah.
So that was cool, like having that, and it led to a little bit of like not drama, but like character growth with the oldest brother, because he was getting to an age where like he was forgetting what magic was and had to make that decision. But yeah, otherwise it was a good season. Like I said, wrapped things up. The villain was interesting because it was like a redcoat from the Revolutionary War, but possessed by one of the demon people.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I overall enjoyed it. And then after that, we also started watching the show The Patient, which is like an FX Hulu original.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Steve Carell and Domhnall Gleeson, who was just in Ex Machina, where he plays a serial killer, and Steve Carell is a therapist, and he's this guy's therapist, but he's only been his therapist for a few months, and he kidnaps him because he wants to not kill people. So his idea is if he kidnaps his therapist and like holds him hostage, he can talk to them like completely honestly and like divulge all the stuff that they've done to try and like come to terms with it and stop doing it, basically. Mm-hmm. It's only 2 episodes so far. Actually, I think the third one may have released earlier today. But like the first 2 episodes, they're only 30-minute episodes, and it was an interesting premise, and it's just in like a basement, basically. So like there were a couple scenes like leading up to that, but like the second episode takes place entirely in the serial killer's I guess it's not basement, it's more of like the lower level of a house that like leads right out into the backyard, but like the house is definitely like elevated, like so like the main floor is above them. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
I don't know a better way to explain that. So like Steve Carell can see outside, but he's chained to like a bed or a wall or something and just can't leave. And he has to kind of like come to terms with it himself, of like he initially tries to like convince him like, no, just like let me go, and everything you've told me is still doctor-patient confidentiality. Like as long as you don't hurt anybody else, I don't have to like report you. Like we can do this the right way. And the guy's like, oh no, like we can't, because like you will totally turn me in. And like I'm not going to hurt you. Like here's my favorite Indian food that I have left over from last night. You can eat this. And he just keeps bringing on like takeout and stuff like that. He's like, oh, you didn't seem to like last night's, but you'll love this Thai food I got from this place like in town. And then he begins to explain, he's like, yeah, and this one dude at this restaurant, man, he was a piece of shit and I really want to kill him. And yeah, it's not what I'm used to seeing Steve Carell do. Because it is more, it's definitely like a psychological thriller drama versus like, everyone knows Steve Carell in comedies, like The Office and that Space Force show.
Yeah. You never expect to see him or someone like him in more of a serious role. Like, he's had a few, I'm trying to think what he's been in. I think like Finding a Partner for the End of the World, although was supposed to be silly, he was still played a little bit serious.
Yeah, he's had a few of like those that they were more like dramedies.
Yeah, stuff like that. But like I don't think I've ever expected to see him in a full-on drama. Like, I think, wasn't he in The Big Short?
I never actually saw that, so I'm not sure. That's one of those movies where I've seen lots of screenshots from it and could probably identify it if you showed it to me.
They actually, my previous job, they paid us to watch it. Like, we were there and they were like, hey, this movie just recently came out or whatever, or I don't know why they decided to let us watch it.
Because it's what they were doing.
But it was like, hey, it's not what they were doing. It was more of a, hey, this is why, like, we all have good job, or we all have this job. Like this.
Good correction there.
This is what happened to give us our job. But no, he wasn't, I don't think he was in The Big Short. But yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen him in something super serious.
Yeah, I'm like running through my head of things I've seen him in, and even the stuff where he has been a little less like over the top comedic, he's still like there's still at least been comedy to it. Where this show so far, like the things that you might chuckle at are definitely not really funny. It's just more like situational, like, oh, this guy, he's a serial killer and he is offering you like noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's holding you hostage, but he's trying to give you like dinner.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So far it's interesting though, and it's on Hulu, so I'm gonna keep watching it. This is unrelated, but just to throw out there, we did watch a movie last night. Don't ever watch the movie Choose or Die. I don't know why either of you would do it, but just don't.
I will choose not to.
It was atrocious. It's one of those like shitty Netflix made like quote unquote horror movies. It's a game from the 80s. It's like a text adventure, and it's all like choose this or that, but this or that ends up being something violent and bloody like Saw.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea is by the end, either you will die or another person will die.
Yeah, I think I just got like I think last night as I was getting to bed, Netflix was telling me about it.
Yeah, it was not good. The only good part about it was the intimidating voice on the answering machine was Robert Englund, and that's it. But that might be the show. Let's see. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
No.
All right then. Next week, we'll do book club, and that will be the NLL Championship game from 2000. Right, Drew? Sound
Correct.
Right? All right. What NLL National Lacrosse League or something?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Look at that. I guessed right. So yeah, we'll do that for book club next week. And then if you want to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. Can't support us there with your dollars, though. You can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all those fun places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. Rich, do you have anything going on streams this week?
No, nothing too special going on. Just trying to kick back into normal schedule and whatnot. Getting ready for next week. Just the normal. Come guess the theme or for the theme co-pops or and whatnot. It is September, so subs are 30 to 50% off depending on how long you sub for. So if you want to come help support me, beyond supporting our Patreon, go ahead and come check it out. Twitch.tv/b_walnuts. I'm trying to get to 250 followers I believe the goal is by the end of the month, by the end of September. And if we can reach that, I'll do something special or something special.
And if you watch his stream enough, you can make him play games.
You can absolutely but spend 10,000 points, 10,000 walnuts, and pick a game for me to buy and play. Or spend, I believe it's like 2,000 points to pick a game off of Game Pass for me to play. And depending on the game, it will depend on the game time, but if you pick the 10,000 points, as long as the game has credits, I have to play until credits roll. So
now, what about for the on Game Pass one?
On Game Pass one, it's because that one is a little bit more open. It's pick a game for me to play for Sunday. But if you pick a game, but if you pick a game that does have, because like that can be Super Mario World. It's not specifically Game Pass, but I don't have a list of games that I have available for you guys to pick through. But like anything that I have access to, Nintendo, like Switch Online, any of that stuff, anything that might be on my Steam wish list or anything on Game Pass, I don't have a good capture card yet, but I could do some PlayStation games. It won't be the normal kind of stream that I have. But that's generally limited to just Sunday. But if it is a long-based game and I enjoy it, I might play it until the credits roll. But if you want me to specifically buy a game to play and beat, that's the 10,000 point.
Oh man, so for 2,000, we can make you play Yakuza Like a Dragon for 80 hours, maybe.
No,
I mean, if I enjoy it, sure.
I said maybe.
I mean, but again, that's until credits roll. So I might not necessarily try to do everything.
Well, no,
since it's a large open world game.
That is like a 60 to 80 hour game, just in general. Like, it's a long game.
Yeah, I took this week and probably going to take next week off of the story-based games just to play just like a little bit more Apex and whatnot. Because I'm trying to pick up my skills on that. I want to get more into playing that.
Seems valid.
But I still have to play Scarlet Nexus. I have to play Death's Door. And they just put, what's it called? Immortals Phoenix Rising on Game Pass. I really want to play that. But I have until Thursday, I believe tomorrow might actually be the last day, to buy Resident Evil 8 half off with my coupon. So I'm going to have to do that tomorrow so that in October I can do Resident Evil 0 through 8. So
yeah, don't slack on that and have to pay full price.
Yeah, I won't. I'll get it.
All right. Well, with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.
Bye.